Time to Shine Today podcast, Varsity Squad. It's Scott Ferguson, and I had kind of like we joked and said, man, this is my brother from another mother that came on. He's a real estate professional, value adder from the West Coast. His name's David Dippong. And again, value. It's refreshing to have another fellow real estate professional provide value on a daily basis. He's not out there, look at me with the Lambo, look at me with the Ferrari, look at me with this, look at me with that. He actually provides value in all his social. Every time he talks to people, the value that he provides in this interview is above reproach. So if you want to learn not just about real estate, but about life and really adding value, please break out your notebooks because you have a ton of notes to take. I know I have 3 pages here that I took during my time with David. So if you like it, please share it. Maybe smash the like or subscribe button. That helps out the sponsors and affiliates across the board and just helps us bring you even more great content. So without further ado, here's my really good friend, David Dippong, a real estate professional from Los Angeles, California. Let's level up. Time to Shine Today podcast, Varsity Squad. This is Scott Ferguson, and I got me a little home cooking here with real estate. My guy is out on the left coast, out on the West Coast. Like me, he's kind of a transplant from the Midwest, me from Michigan down to Palm Beach, and him from the great state of Ohio out to the left coast. And I got my guy here, big baller, David Dippong, who's personally managed and closed over $50 million in residential real estate, home, condo, and multifamily property transactions. He creates a specific plan for each client based on current market conditions and in their long, short-term goals and needs. Dave is a go-to resource for real estate in Southern California, from Los Angeles to Orange County, consistently working with first-time buyers and sellers, luxury clients, investors, and everything in between. And Dave, thank you so much for coming on. Please introduce yourself to the Time to Shine Today podcast, Varsity Squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
Blue.
Blue.
Yeah. Blue, you know what? It brings out my eyes and it makes me happy.
You know, you ladies out there, man, you got a handsome devil here that's on. If you're watching Vimeo or YouTube, the guy, no, he's balling out, man, out there. So let me ask you something, brother. I mean, how did you get into the business? Because we talked off mic and we were kind of throwing our opinions back and forth and stuff, but how'd you get into the business?
So I actually wanted a better life for myself, which doesn't sound so specific, but I was a private chef working with some high net worth clients. And what I learned from that job was all of the hard work ethic that my parents taught me was great, but working hard 17 hours a day, 6 days a week, didn't leave a lot of time to leverage money, time, or willpower even for the things I wanted out of life, like the wife, the dog, the house. So I thought of something, and since I was good with numbers, I'm good with time management, I'm good with clients, I thought, what can I apply this to where I still get to work with people, help people, but I also get everything I want in my own life by design.
Oh, I love that, dude. I love it. But what kind of pushed you to real estate?
Well, of course, everybody says prices are so high out here, but realistically, being your own boss, your own entrepreneur, establishing your own perfect daily schedule, and having the opportunity to make unlimited income for your family if you just help unlimited other people.
Yes. Service, baby. I love it. I love it. So let me ask you, like a lot of people, we have a joke here in Florida, right? They say part of being a Florida resident is having your real estate license. Like everybody has their license, but once they get their license, they realize they wake up every day unemployed, just like you did. You have to wake up to find someone to interview to sell their house, to find a house for them to buy, to rent their house, or find a house for them to rent. How do you take on that everyday grind of really waking up unemployed and then getting out there and providing that service but getting people to listen to you to do it?
So I try to come from a place of value. I know my industry has not historically been perceived as the most ethical. So I start my day with a perfect morning routine to get my mind right.
Love it.
And then I focus on value add. So I don't do all of the random advertising to people like, hey, look, I just sold this. Hey, look, I just did this. Hey, look, I just did this. I don't send you something or drop a letter off at your house unless it's adding some kind of value, unless it's teaching you something about the local laws that are changing, something that's going to happen. And what you realize is you don't need to work with 90 or 100% of the people. You need 10% of the people you reach to really love what you do. And just by helping them, your goals will become inevitable. Just by helping those people, you will be fine.
What I love that I just heard out there, squad, is that my guy David here does what he loves in the service of people that loves what he does. Like people can tell you love what you do because you're not out. Look at me, I'm David with a Lambo, right? You're out there saying, dude, you're giving them value of something that's going to help them. And people love that. Like I said, I do what I love in the service of people that love what I do. They see that I love what I do. And I see that all across you, man. That's fantastic. That work ethic and stuff, I know a lot of it because when I first started in real estate, I worked for a very high-end restaurant in Detroit. It was called Stephen Rock. He's like Steve Rockowitz is like a legend in the chef world, right? And I just see the attention to detail, and they're not the easiest people to get along with, our chefs, okay? So they're just not, dude. It's like, dude, you stayed out of his freaking face. How much did you learn from that world and bring it into the real estate world that you still maybe even use to today?
Honestly, a lot of it was functional and a lot of it was emotional. So the functional stuff I know is running a budget, making a plan, making sure my family, the person I'm serving, their budget works for the year. It's a lot of that long-term numbers planning that you use in real estate every day, just a different set of rules. But the emotional stress that you get put through, especially in the old-fashioned kitchens where the chef is an artist and pots go flying by your head if things don't exactly go the way it needs to go.
Right.
When you transition into another career, you realize that the stakes aren't as emotionally traumatizing anymore. It's much easier to help a person who's not yelling and shouting and burning you.
Right.
than it is to help somebody who is. So it became a way for me to apply this work ethic into a job that I could enjoy, and the startup was much easier. Even without clients, I still wasn't dealing with nearly as much stress coming from outside. So I could pack some stress inside to grow and to learn and to make sure I could represent people properly before going out and asking them to trust me with their largest assets.
Thank you for saying that, man. That's what I say. They're trusting us with arguably their biggest investment they're going to make to that point in their life, right? I mean, that's dude,
possibly in their entire life.
Exactly, man. So, like, how do you handle then the ones that are the old school chefs that are clients that you get? You know what I'm saying? Like, I like to say, like the engineers, where they read every freaking word. How do you work or with them? How do you serve them differently than maybe you'd serve a, hey, dude, what's up? I'll sign it. What do you do with those people?
So the engineers, the lawyers, the more I want to write my own contracts, I want to read every word of this.
Right.
It's a different personality type. You find out those people are a lot more analytical. So if I can show them this paragraph means this thing and this data point is this, these are not me telling you that, it's fine, just trust me. It's, look, the facts are, this is what is happening. I don't want it to happen that way. It happens because it's the rule and it's how it happens. And then the people who are more emotional, you switch to a more emotional approach, which is, what's the benefit that this home is going to provide 10 years from now, 15 years from now? How much will this property have helped you just simply by keeping it, doing nothing else, nothing hard, nothing ridiculous, just keeping it?
Right.
And then they react to that better and say like, oh, well, actually all this space will help me enjoy my life every day, as opposed to the more numbers oriented, how much money is this going to make me? No approach is wrong, but you have to cater your approach to the personality you are working with.
Don't you wish you could get a very client like a DISC assessment before you worked with them?
Exactly.
Can you take this test? That's awesome.
So you don't step on a landmine of an analytical versus an amiable.
Right. So let me ask you, like, what do you think right now in this market? And out there, squad, it's 2023. What do you think people's biggest blind spots are in this market right now? Kind of holding back, or what are you seeing right now, David?
I think it's honestly the short-term mindset that's killing a lot of people. It's the fact that we go through these cycles, these small recessions, these different challenges every 8 to 12 years, and nobody remembers what happened last time. So they start to spend, they start to do things that'll really help them feel better in the short term. When buckling down during these times is how people soar during the next expansion, during the next, it's the perfect planning time.
Right. Right. Absolutely, man. I love that you said that to not expand too much while the times are good, like really hunker down. So like I was taught that young. So I did suffer in '09 a little bit, but then I
Hmm.
shifted the whole mindset. I ended up closing like 456. I have it on my wall over here, 456 short sales. Like I
Hmm.
had a negotiator, I had everything going, and I was like, this is the last time I'll ever have to shift like this, ever in my life,
Hmm.
dude. You know what I'm saying? Because I did print money from like '02 to '08. I mean, it was like we were joking off, hey, you have a heartbeat and you pinky promise you made some money, they'll give you a loan. So I really love that. So is there, when you're starting to work with someone, David, is there any good question that you wish they would ask you but never do?
Yes. So I wish they would ask me how this home is going to be a great investment for them. Everybody looks at the home as like, I need more space, I have to have an office, I'm going to have a kid. If they really took some time to look at the amount of equity, the amount of money that this home will help them invest in their lives to grow their wealth, to build that generational wealth wheel, they would have a much easier time dealing with all of the steps that come into it. Because when people look at it and say, I'm going to
Yeah.
spend most or all of my money on a house, and then maintenance comes up and different things come up, they're not thinking about this home as an investment. They're thinking about it as something they're spending money on.
Right.
But in reality, when you invest in your home, the money stays there. The value goes up. The
Right.
equity increases. You don't spend a down payment and that money goes away.
Love
It's
that.
in your house.
Right. Yeah. I love how you just broke it down from like facts and amiable from both sides, man. You know what I'm saying? The engineer and the surfer. You know what I'm saying? That's why you're such a good agent, that you can go out there and serve everybody, which is amazing, man. And that's what agents, if you're out there listening, the agents that I coach out there, make sure you re-listen to what my good buddy David just said here. So, David, let me ask something. Have you seen the movie Back to the Future?
Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask your age if you don't mind saying? If not,
Yeah, I'm
we can.
35.
Okay, you're 30. You look, no offense, brother, but you look like you're 24. Okay. I mean,
Well,
and
thank
I love
you.
it. Okay.
That's on purpose.
Right,
Good
my
diet,
man.
exercise.
It's that morning routine. I'm 51. So it's like we got that energy, which is good. So let me ask you something. Let's get in that DeLorean with Marty McFly. All right.
Okay.
Let's go back to the double deuce, the 22-year-old David.
Hmm.
Okay. What kind of knowledge nuggets might you drop on him? Not so much to change everything, because your journey is pretty freaking awesome, right? But to maybe help him shorten a learning curve, blast through, or level up, maybe just a little bit quicker.
So the thing I would say is buy something, invest in something, find what drives you,
Ooh.
set a goal. Because a lot of my 20s were wasted, or not wasted, but they were spent learning that life without some sort of goal or ambition, it feels neutral. You don't really feel a way about anything. You're just working, you're kind of glazed over, you're just going through the routine.
Mhm.
Buy a home, put 3% down, whatever. Just invest in something and start reading about the topics that interest you. And over the next 10 years, there's no way you won't benefit.
Dude, yeah, like even I coach on inch by inch, it's a cinch, right? By the yard, it's hard. It's like short steps, long vision. Which is that's amazing that you broke it down like that. That's absolutely awesome. So, David, how do you want your dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and death date. Hopefully, it's way down the line. But how does
Mhm.
David want his dash remembered?
So I want it remembered as everything is basically everything is achievable. I mean, you just said it, and I would love to emphasize it. Every single thing you've ever wanted is achievable when you break it down into the thousand tiny, unextraordinary, easy daily steps. Everything is impossible when you wake up January 1st and you go, this year I'm going to lose 200 pounds, I'm going to make $1 million, I'm going to buy 3 properties.
Right.
So just take the time. You only ever have to break these things down once.
Yes, dude. That's a fantastic way to answer that question, brother. So, if you only knew David, like if you only knew me, what would you say about yourself? People, like if you only knew me, you would know what?
Hmm. If you only knew me, you would know that I take my ethical and moral responsibilities to other people very seriously. So you can choose to work with whoever you want. You can choose to surround yourself with whichever friends you want, but make sure that they are also treating you like you want your life to be. You're the sum total of the five people you spend the most time with, right?
Exactly,
And
man.
if you want to be in that growth development mindset, you want to be surrounded by people like you and me.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And like I have myself, I wake up every day with a plus equals minus, right? Where I
Hmm.
find people that I still want to emulate, that I want to learn from, right? And then I have people like you, the equals, that we bounce stuff off each other, right? And then we send the elevator down to the people that want to get up to us. And if you can do that every day, the day's fulfilled, bro, because you're giving, you're taking, you're receiving. So it's all open, man. That's fantastic, brother. So what do you think people misunderstand the most about you?
I think they misunderstand the fact that I they believe I'm rushing. I have a
Okay.
system for everything. I've worked with hundreds of
You're a
people.
chef.
I
I love
have a
it. Yeah.
recipe for your success. And I
Yeah.
go, hey, this is the way to do it. If you have any questions, ask me. But let's get started because we're not reinventing the wheel.
Right.
This is the way to do it. And some people take that as like, well, we're rushing. Well, we're not rushing. You
Right.
still get to make that decision whenever you feel comfortable that you
Right.
are making the best decision for you.
Right.
But there's no reason not to learn something or to do the proper process to get the right information
Right.
because you just don't want to hear it or you don't want to see it. Get the
Right.
information and then take the time to
Yes.
wait that 2 months and really digest it. But get it fast. Get all
Yeah.
the information as quickly as possible and then make the decision that's best for your family.
Yeah, that's amazing because people look at agents because we have such a low bar to become a realtor, right, dude?
Well,
You pass a
yeah,
test, right? And
you get a
then
license, you
you get a
bounce
license, right?
around.
And so they think, oh, because you have a plan that's proven to work, they want to question that because you didn't go to 4 years, graduate degree, all that other stuff. So that was an objection that I used to have to get over because I started in the business so young. They'd be like, "How long you been in the business?" And I just finally said, "Feels like a lifetime."
Yeah.
Right? That's what I would say, and it ended right there. So, what about you with your objection? I think you might have answered it, but more of your strategy for objection handling when somebody comes to you in our business, like we get objections on the daily, but how are you to handle your objections? Like, what is your bread and butter that you go to with that?
So objections, of course, everybody who's gone through coaching, objections are just unanswered questions.
Sure.
If these people have an unanswered question, I'm not helping them unless they get that question answered. So what I'm
Oh
doing is
man.
saying, "Hey, let me get you all of the information. That way, you can go home and Google it, double check it, come back to me, and then we
Yeah.
can make a decision as you guys get more comfortable and confident with the process and with the information because this is information much like cooking that
Right.
you're never going to stop using unless
Right.
you stop eating or living places, and you're
Bro.
not going to do that.
You're wise, man. That is fire. That is strong, dude. I mean, yeah, they're unanswered questions. And in 20 something years, 27 years, 25, whatever it is, I've never heard that before. Unanswered questions, man. It's basically what it is. I understood that, hey, they don't
Yeah.
understand something. So how can I make it easier for them to understand it? And you have your kind of douchey agents that'll say, oh, if you sleep on it tonight, you might not sleep in it tomorrow. It's like, yeah, you have those people out there. So how about working with agents that are a little bit not up to what you and I would think a par industry standard would be? How do you handle difficult agents?
You have to you have to meet them. Your job is to represent your client. And if the other agent is not picking up their slack, you have to pick up the slack for them. You may not ever want to work with them again. You may be able to coach your next client on what it's like to work with this person, how long they take to get things back and forth to you. But you have to set the expectations for both sides to say, hey, you want to get this done. I want to get this done. Our clients want to get this done. I need you to meet me here.
Love it,
And if
man.
you won't, give me access so I can do it myself.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I love that, man. And you put the client first. That's service. Absolutely, man. So David, what is your definition of a life well lived?
A life that you enjoy. I mean, if you can take a few hard years, a few years in your 20s to start the wheel, to buy a couple properties, to pay them off before retirement, you can spend the rest of your life, the 60 to 100, living every day exactly like you want to live it.
Yeah, live on
And
vacation.
you
Yeah.
don't have to not enjoy the 30 years it took to pay those off. But what you do have to do is take one little step in one of the sections of your life towards your life by
Yeah.
design.
Yeah. Yeah. I call it a harmonic life because everyone wants balance, work-life balance. Balance is zero. Balance is junk. But like I liken it, even when my coaching clients went out to like a jazz band where like your spiritual or God or whatever is the drums, your health is the guitar and on through family, community, but they're different instruments. If one of them's out of tune, the band sounds like junk, right? But what you're just kind of saying is you have to live in harmony. You have to find that harmony in that area. And that works, man. That's fantastic, dude. Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. We are back. And David, next time I make it out to the left coast, I'm going to try to look you up, man, and maybe just grab a bite or something and just kind of pick your brain on some stuff that in the real estate, maybe share something with you might not know. And we'll talk about some of these questions for like maybe 15, 20 minutes. But today in our lightning round, you got 5 seconds with no explanations, and they can all be answered that way. I promise you. You ready to level up?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it, man. David, what is the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Take small, achievable steps. You can have excuses or you can have results.
I love it, man. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
My perfect morning. I walk the dog, I exercise, I make my wife a snack, and I make sure everybody in my life is taken care of so that I can go out to take care of everybody else.
Love it, dude. That's awesome. So you see me walking down the street, or you might see me in an event or whatnot, but man, you're like, Fergie looks like he's in a doldrums a little bit. What book might you hand me that's really kind of leveled you up?
I would send you to Lifespan by David Sinclair.
David Sinclair.
Yeah,
Man.
I would explore how much potential you have to enjoy and live your life at the highest quality for the entirety of it.
Love it. Most commonly used emoji when you text.
The crying with laughter emoji.
Love it. Nicknames growing up?
Dippy, to shorten my last name so people could figure it out.
I love it. Do you have any hidden talent and or superpowers that nobody knows about until now?
You know what? The hidden talent is just you might not know I was a private chef. And when there's there's good food in the home, that you got a happy life.
Love it. Chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
Checkers.
All right. Headline for your life.
Live by design.
Man, that's awesome. Go-to ice cream flavor.
Milk chocolate.
There's a sandwich called the Dippy. Build that sandwich for me, man. What's on it, brother? And I'm asking a chef here, squad, so don't get too fancy.
Oh, man. Well, I'm a little Californian now, so I'm going to go a lot of turkey, pork, some fresh mozzarella, avocado, bacon. I'm gonna add all of the textures. So you've got the meat, you've got the protein, you've got the fat, you've got the salty bacon, and you've got a nice vinaigrette or a salad that's just lemon, arugula, salt, pepper on top to add that acid.
Dude, he broke it down with the acid even. Like, I'm on a 96-hour fast. I get to break it in 5 hours. I stopped eating it. It's Sunday. I can't wait. I break it really slowly, but tomorrow will be a fun day. But that sounded good, man. Especially putting man candy on there, that bacon. You got to have it. So, favorite charity and or organization you like to give your time or money to?
Wags and Walks. It's
really?
A local dog shelter in Santa Monica, West LA, that does a lot of great job working with higher risk dogs like pits and large dogs.
That's right. I've got a
typical. Yeah, I've got a blue Staffy, and she's the best.
I have a tan Staffy, dude. That's awesome, dude. Yeah, right?
They're so sweet, but people they get such a bad rap because some people have raised them to be.
Yeah.
So I support them because it makes me happy, and it's a time away from everything. It's a time away from people.
What's the name of the place again, Dave?
It's called Wags and Walks.
Okay, gotcha.
So in West LA.
What I do is when I go speak in different cities or whatever, I find a place that I can volunteer at. What I do, like let's say I spoke for Compass, right? I came in and spoke. I would go to Wags and Walks. And I'd be like, here, I'm speaking in the area. I'm here on behalf of Compass Real Estate. I was wondering if I could take some of your dogs for a walk. Because as a speaker, you have time to kill. I usually have 6-7 hours. So I go get a little exercise in, hang out with some fur babies, and chill out. That's awesome. You do that. And last question, you can elaborate on this one too. What is the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
Oh man, I'm a '90s baby.
All
Just
right.
went to that We Are Young festival
Did
with
you
all
really?
of the Blink 182s and
They
the
had
Sum
it in Palm Beach
41s,
too, bro.
Less
Yeah.
Than Jake, all of that stuff. It's like music's. I'm instantly back in high school and I'm
Yeah.
loving it.
Dude, I know Travis Barker, right? So the reason why I do is because Blink was coming out and they were starting to get known in the 90s. And they used to play in a garage. And this was before Barker was actually their drummer, right? And he would go in there and mess around, but they lived like 4 doors down from us. So we used to go see them. And this when Nirvana started kicking, Pearl Jam, like stuff like that, the early 90s. And we'd go to bars and watch these bands, and now they're like huge. We'd be like, oh, they're pretty good. Now they're like monsters, dude. They're like freaking monsters. That's awesome.
Nothing like it.
Right? No, there's no nine. I'm an 80s baby, right? So much happened in the 80s with the invasion from other countries with U2 and Duran Duran and stuff. And then rap kind of really started with Run DMC and LL Cool J. But like the 90s kind of took it to a way that you could like dance to it in a sense, but still be rock. Like Blink,
it was upbeat, but still punk. It was angsty, but still high tempo.
Yes, absolutely. So, David, how can we find you, brother?
So I have a website, dippongrealestate.com. That's DIPPONG realestate.com. I'm also Dippong Real Estate LA on all socials. So you can look me up, take a look at my content. Just reach out to me if you have any questions. It starts with value, and then you can decide whether you want to actually work with somebody or take a step towards your goals. But start by taking away some value and reaching out.
I love it. And each one of them, and Squad, everything will be in the show notes below here. But like you'll see everything in there. He's not posing with, I mean, he has got a beautiful bride. He has some pictures up with, but other than that, he's got value in each one of his posts. I dig that, man. You might not get all like the followers, but the ones you get, value it. Right?
Yes.
And that's the stuff you
It's
take
not
off.
about catching all the fish. It's about catching and helping as many people as possible. And then by doing so, I get to support my family exactly how I would like to.
I love it. In Squad, we just had a super fun, actually flew by conversation with my good friend David Dippong, an outstanding real estate professional on the West Coast. And he was a private chef. We worked hard, so he knows about hard work and work ethic and be able to balance books and recipes. And he really took that and parlayed that into the world of real estate, where we talked about, David and I, about it being such an easy entry. But the attrition rate's super high. People quit because they don't understand. They wake up every day unemployed and have to go find their next value add into somebody. And that's what David has, is he adds value in everything he does. He does stuff in the service of people that love what he does. He reminded us that short-term mindset is killing people's emotions, killing everything. They want everything now. David wants you to hunker down, really kind of, while it's good, make sure you're putting that rainy day away. So when it gets how it is, kind of like right now in 2023, you can still live comfortably. And if you're working with someone like David or an agent anywhere else, David reminded us to ask, how is this going to be a great investment? Outside of emotions, outside of everything, but for the long term. David is very, very into the value and making sure what you're getting into makes sense for you in the long term. He reminded us that find what drives you, set goals, and invest in whatever you feel is going to serve you. And if you don't know something, he wants you to consistently learn. But if you don't know something, like my good friend Leah Woodford said out there also on the West Coast, get your asking gear. There's people out there that you can ask. David reminded us that everything is achievable when you break it down into unextraordinary, easy steps. And when it comes times get hard, winners make adjustments, losers make excuses. So don't make excuses. Okay. Ethics and morals is something that's very, very, very important to David. And David loves to live a life of options and not obligations. So he's banking, he's making that nest, he's taking care of his family, he's getting out there and absolutely killing it. He puts service first, even with working with somebody that's difficult, it's out there. And I got that smile out of him there. I love it. And David wants you to live by design and also live a life, those options and not obligations. That's what he does. He levels up his health. He levels up his wealth. He's handsome devil. He's humble, yet he's hungry. And he's earned his varsity squad letter here at Time to Shine today. So, David, thank you so much for coming on, brother. It's so nice to have a resource up there in LA right now to just refer people to.
Thanks for having me. I'm here to help. That's what I like to say. Just give whatever your wherewithal is, whatever you're capable of hearing and asking right now, ask it. You don't lose anything. You only gain information.
Love it. Thanks, brother. We'll talk soon.
I'll talk to you soon.